spooky, scary skeletons. You like Necrons? You've come to the right place.
So yeah, the battle report has been filmed. It's been edited. It is ready to go. We can't wait to share it with you. Unfortunately, there was some changing embargo dates that we got, and there's some stuff that we're not allowed to show you yet. But September 6th morning, we will be releasing that battle report, so stay tuned. Can't wait for you to watch it. We wish you could watch it now, but it's the way she goes. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed, who's been looking for it. You won't be disappointed.
Now back to this video. What is this team? The Canoptek Circle. I painted them up, and I played them once. They're pretty fun. What are we doing here? Okay, we're going to review this team. So, should we get right into it?
Yeah.
This team is an 8 operative team, but it's actually a 5 operative team, but it's actually an 8 operative team. And we'll get to that later. So you have to take your Cryptek. This is the Geomancer for this team. You have no other options. It's not like a sneaky Rattlings vibe of like, oh, go out and buy extra models to expand your roster. It's not like Hyrotech. You're locked to the Geomancer and only the Geomancer. That's your only Cryptek option, which I like. You have to take 2 Canoptek crawlers, which are the giant spider things. You can take them both with huge Tesla cannon gun things, but you also have the option of subbing one of those out for the dimensional isolator, I think it's called. Yeah. We'll get to that later. And then you've got 5 plasma sites, but they're technically called macro sites, so I guess they're like enlarged.
They are.
They're pretty big, actually. They're bigger than I thought they'd be. So you have to take the accelerator, you have to take the reanimator, and then you get 3 warriors. The warriors have 2 weapon options, although honestly, I feel like you could build whatever one you want as long as they're all the same, and then just tell your opponent what you're using, because the difference is extremely subtle. And I really don't think you're going to want to be mixing. You'll either want all of one or all of the other, I think.
How magnetizable would it be?
Pretty unmagnetizable.
Oh, really?
I think it would be very difficult to magnetize, but I think this is an easy gun to not go WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
I think. But it's fine. I think the spiders are also kind of difficult to magnetize. You could do it, but it would be a real pain. But I think you build both. Yeah. You build one of each, and then if you really want both Tesla guns, you could just tell your opponent they're both Tesla guns. Like, it doesn't change the silhouette or anything. So I think technically it's a 2-box team, but I really think if you're not like a diehard WYSIWYG user, you could just say it's a 1-box team and you just tell your opponent this gun's actually this. It's like obvious. Yeah. The choices are very clear. There are some teams where if you're not playing WYSIWYG, it would get confusing. This is not one of those teams. Just build what looks the coolest, give your spiders one of each, and then if you really want to use both Tesla guns on the spiders, just say that they're both Tesla guns. It's like easy to remember.
You won't, because the other gun is hilarious and awesome.
It's the most fun game.
Yeah, it's really good.
The archetypes for this team are the same as Canoptek Circle. It's recon and security, but obviously new approved ops are coming, so who knows if that's going to be good or bad. So the faction rule is a big one for this team. This is not a simple team. This is a very complicated team. I guess they're not the most complicated of teams, but the faction rule has some stuff going on, and there's some weird, like, they're not obvious. It's not obvious how to play them correctly. I'll say that.
Can I quickly say something?
Please.
The faction rule is not reanimation.
Yes. A round of applause. Yeah. I'll put a sound effect in. Yeah, there's almost no reanimation on this team. Yeah. We'll get to that later, but there's very little healing and very little reanimation. I shouldn't say very little. There's some healing and some reanimation, but really not that much.
Not team-wide.
It's not toxic.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I could just read this wall of text, but we're just going to put it on the screen, and then I'll give you like the paraphrase. So you get 3 tokens that are kind of like the Ravener tunnel tokens, but they don't have to start in your deployment zone. They all start in your half of the board, and they all come out all at the same time in the first strategic phase of Turning Point 1. When they're within 6 inches of each other, they become a matrix. So if they're further than 6 inches, it's just a token. But if they're within 6 inches of another one, there's like a line, and there's a little piece of cardboard in the token sheet to help you with this. There's like an invisible line between the tokens that becomes your matrix. There's a whole diagram. Except for your Cryptek, everybody pretty much hits on 4s, which is not great and pretty scary. But when you are standing on the matrix, so when you're standing on a token within 6 inches of another token, or if you're standing in the space between 2 tokens that are within 6 inches of each other, I think that's correct.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You get accurate 2, and your APL goes up by 1. So that's pretty good. Even though you're hitting on 4s, you have some reliable ways to get accurate 2, which helps a lot. And other ploys and stuff are going to help too. In addition to all of that, if you have one of these tokens on an objective and there's no enemy on that objective, then your token can control that objective. And there's other ways later that we'll talk about where you can actually do mission actions using the token, even if you have no operatives on it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is good.
Kind of helps with the fact that you have a low operative count. Helps you still do the crit op.
Certain missions, it'll be extremely valuable.
Yeah. So, operatives. The big one is the Geomancer. Like the Crypteks in Canoptek Circle, this is a crazy operative with lots of cool spells and abilities. Same basic stat line, 3 APL, 6-inch move, 3 up save, and 14 health. Okay? For weapons, it has the Tremor Glaive Staff. No choice here, no options. For ranged attacks, there's 2 profiles, a single target profile, 4 on 3s, 4/5 damage, piercing 1, and piercing crits 2, which at first I thought that meant if you got a crit, then you could like negate all 3 dice being rolled. But I'm pretty sure like it upgrades it to 2 dice. I don't think it stacks, unfortunately. Yeah. That would be sick though. There's also a AoE profile for the ranged weapon. 6 on 3s, 1/3 damage, so not great, but blast 2, seek light, and stun. So, you know, if you're in close quarters or condensed whatever environment and you're getting lethal 5 on that, could be pretty good because you could sneak some 3 damage crits through, but also seek light makes it, you know, a little bit easier to use, especially on the Tomb World kill zone, which we'll take a look at in a different video, on Into the Dark, etc. And stun can be good, you know?
Stun's
if you
great,
stun a bunch of guys, that's pretty good. And stun with seek light, you know?
Here's a question. If you are standing on the matrix, do you take accurate 2 on the gun with piercing crits, or are you rolling them?
I think you don't take it, honestly.
I think so too.
But this is the only guy.
Right. I've been criticized for that in the past.
Yeah.
But
all right, then the melee profile for this thing, not great. 4 on 4s, 4/5, but it does have severe, shock, and stun. Shock is very helpful with severe, obviously, because it kind of helps you, even though you hit on 4s, shock is good.
Yeah,
so it can help like
alive.
even things out.
Yeah.
First ability here, when the Geomancer performs mission actions, it can basically do a mission action on an objective that it's not in control range of if one of your node markers is on it. Similarly, it can use a node marker to open a hatch, do a bunch of stuff. So you can kind of be like off away doing something else, killing a bunch of guys with your Cryptek, but you have a node marker on a key objective or somewhere that you want to use this mission action. You can still do it, even if you're like completely somewhere else. So that is handy for the small amount of operatives that this team has. Okay, now for active abilities, these all cost 1 APL each. First, Canoptek Control. This basically lets you do another action out of activation with a different operative. So if you have a really good gun, say one of your spiders is close by to your Cryptek, you can like move up, shoot with your Cryptek, and then also make your spider shoot again. Yeah. Or you can make someone do a mission action. Like it's very similar to what Hyrotech has, but with less restrictions. Then we have Geomantic Disturbance, which is one of these abilities that's basically a non-attack attack.
Yeah.
You have to be on engage to use this, so it's even more like a real attack, kind of. It has like pseudo full seek and blast 4-inch, kind of. You pick a point on terrain, and then everybody within 2 inches of that point takes damage. You roll 2d6, and the amount of damage they take is based on how well you roll and how low your opponent's health is. So, like, you know, if you use this on a full health Marine, it's going to do nothing.
Yeah.
But if they're wounded already, or if you use it on a Guardsman, it's much better. So this is really good at finishing guys off. Could combo potentially really well with the AoE profile of the range weapon, because you can do a little bit of chip with that, and then this ability gets stronger and easier to use.
And, you know, I think as damage reduction is seen more and more in the game, it feels like, you know, most teams kind of have some access to it now. these sort of attacks that aren't technically normal or critical damage are so much more valuable.
Yep.
It's such a nice piece of tech to have in your team to be able to do that.
Yep. Okay, last ability, the spiciest ability, Molecular Breach. You can buff people up so that the next time they move, they teleport instead of moving. So you pick them up and put them a distance away that is equal to their move stat. It's similar to Fly. If you're charging, you don't get the extra 2 inches.
Yeah.
But one interesting note here is that on Into the Dark and on the new Tomb World kill zone, you can teleport through walls. So very, very really spicy. Good. And also this ability, it's not like Canoptek Circle where once you cast it again, it wears off.
Yeah.
You can buff multiple guys with this. And even if they don't move in their next activation, like, you know, you could buff them turning point 1 and then turning point 4, if the buff is still active, they could still use it. You could use this on a counteract. If you really want to, you could put this on a lot of guys, be teleporting everywhere. It could probably get pretty crazy. I have not even thought about all the ways to abuse this yet, but there's probably some pretty crazy combos and stuff.
Yeah.
So all in all, yeah, the Geomancer, the craziest operative on this team, and like any crypt tech you'd expect, very good.
And similar to Hyrotech, it's like the whole team runs through the Geomancer, right? And so like while it's excellent to have such a powerful single operative, it's also a bit of a liability, right? Like if this goes down, the team loses access to so much of the like really important stuff, like the extra mission actions, the teleport. That's all only coming from him, and so you got to protect it.
There are ways to increase their survivability, though, which
100%.
we will get to. Okay, next up, the Spiders. 2 APL, 5-inch move only, 3-up save, and 21 HP.
Yeah, that's a lot.
These are some tanky guys. Also, 2 APL, yeah, not like super amazing on a team with only 8 operatives, but keep in mind, you have the Accelerator Plasma Sight, which we'll get to, and also when you're standing on the Matrix, your APL is buffed.
Yeah.
So, you know, they can still hold objectives and stuff. So the twin Gauss Reapers have 2 profiles. Focused is 5 attacks on 4s, 4/5, piercing 1, and severe. Pretty gnarly.
Yep.
Sweeping profile, basically exactly the same except -1 attack and gains torrent. It's like a heavy bolter
Just
or
a
whatever.
heavy bolter, yeah.
But, you know, really good profile. The hitting on 4s sucks, but you can get accurate too, and you can get ceaseless from a ploy. So there are ways to buff this up. Then the more interesting weapon, the Trans-Dimensional Isolator, 5 on 4s as well, 5/6 damage, and the special rule Dimensional Banishment. So after you shoot with this, if your target took any damage or you even retained a critical hit, even if the crit didn't go through, you can use this special rule. You roll 2d6, and if the result is higher than the target's remaining HP, they are just incapacitated.
Yep.
So obviously it's swingy, but there is a chance, like a 15 HP, really good Deathwatch operative, let's say you get 1 hit through, they're down to 10. You roll hot on your 2d6, you roll an 11 or a 12, they're just dead. You just one-shot a 15 HP guy. And the interesting thing is, like, you do have to get 1 hit through or roll a crit, which you're not always going to get. But when it does happen, if you roll high, it doesn't matter how good their save is. It doesn't matter if they have a 2-up save. It doesn't matter if they have damage reduction. You know, they could have -4 damage reduction. You get 1 normal hit through for 1 damage.
Yeah.
That actually wouldn't work because they'd have too high a health, free to roll. But you get what I'm saying. Like, this is similar to the Cryptek's ability in that it can like wreck an operative that has really good defensive stats because in some ways it doesn't care about the defensive stats.
Yeah, so, just the wound number is all that matters.
And very flavorful.
Yeah, I love a casino cannon. I wish Kill Team had more stuff like this. I love this.
Yeah, some people are going to get very upset when they die to a 12.
Yeah.
But get good is all I can say.
Blood Bowl players know that 12s happen.
Yeah. Okay, melee profile on these guys, not very good. 4 on 4s, 4/4, that's it.
Who cares?
They have a couple other special rules that help them out. Well, one helps them, one hurts them. The one that hurts them is they have the same rules the Ogren or a couple other abilities. They can't use light terrain to not get shot if they're concealed, but they can still use it to get a cover save. So you can't hide behind light terrain.
Yeah. But 21 wounds, still get a cover save. Like they're still hard to kill.
And then they also have Steadfast. Whenever determining control of a marker with these guys, treat their APL stat as 3. So that's good. You know, even though they only have 2 APL, like I said, they can still hold stuff. They can still get work done. Okay, moving on to the plasma sites. We'll start with the Accelerator macro site. Similar to the Accelerator from Hyrotech, but not exactly the same. So 2 APL, 7 up move, 4 up save, 7 wounds. You know, crappy range 4 gun. It has piercing 1, but it's pretty bad. And bad melee. Well, 3 on 4, 3-4, lethal 5 and stun. So it's like quirky rules, but still not very good. But like some niche case use.
Not what it's for.
They have overcharge. So you basically buff anybody that's not your leader with an APL buff. They also have an additional ability, Cranial Overload. You can subtract an APL from the enemy. Like, it's pretty niche when this is going to come up, but it could be good against certain matchups.
Yeah.
Just a little more flexibility with these operatives. They're not only buff machines. And then the Reanimator is actually like pretty much a completely different operative.
It's just a standard medic now.
It's basically just a standard medic. So same basic profile as the Accelerator. Different range weapon. This one has range 6, but it's still kind of bad. Bad melee. The Reanimate ability is basically a standard medic ability. You know, if you're within 6 inches of somebody and they die, they can actually go to 1 HP and, you know, move toward the Reanimator. Very similar to a medic. They have another ability too. It's just a standard heal, but it's 3d3, which is pretty good. And you can heal guys on the Matrix even if you're far away. So very different than the Hyrotech Reanimator, but a lot of flexibility and really good use case for this team, I think.
Yeah.
Like a star operative. Then we'll go to the Warriors. These guys have the same basic profile again, and they have 2 weapon options. Like I said before, I think you can just build them all the same probably, and then just tell your opponent which one you're using. The first option is the Gauss Scalpel. It's 4 on 4s, 3-4 piercing 1. Not bad if you can get buffs.
Yeah, not bad with accurate too.
And then the second one is the Tesla Caster. This has 2 profiles. The focus profile is 5 attacks on 4s, 2-3. And the second profile is exactly the same, even the same amount of attacks, but it just has blast 2. I guess they give you the focus profile in case you're going to hit your own guys or something. Or, you know, like if there's a... Victor doesn't believe me. Like, there's some niche cases where you don't want blast. So I guess that's why they gave you an option without blast, but they're very similar. Just one has blast, one doesn't.
That's wild.
You don't know what to make of this, huh? But it's like, think about it. Sometimes you don't want to hit your own guy, so you have the focus profile for that situation. Or
so niche.
You want to play around a bodyguard ploy, you know, where it's like, oh, my blast guns aren't gonna be good here. And then they have bad.
I didn't even notice that reading through.
And they have bad melee, but whatever.
Yeah.
So these guys have a couple abilities, 3 actually. The first one, expendable, same as bomb squigs. They don't count for the kill op. They don't count for whatever points you're getting. Second ability here is that every strategic phase after the first, if you have lost at least one of these guys, you can bring 1 back. So this is the only real reanimate mechanic on this team, and I think it's significantly less toxic than what we've seen in Hyrotech Circle. The maximum you're realistically gonna get back in a game are 2, because you're probably not losing 1 in turning point 1.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna lose 1 in turning point 2, so then it'll come back in turning point 3, and then you're probably gonna lose 1 in turning point 3, so it'll come back in 4. So you're only really reviving 2 guys, and they're not treated as revivals even, they're treated as new operatives that spawn freshly in your deployment zone. So it's not like the insane movement shenanigans that Hyrotech gets. Significantly less annoying to play against, I think, and I'm all about it.
Yeah. You know, I think that this is a really good way to handle reanimation because, like Brad said, like you're probably only getting 2, and you're getting your worst operative back twice. It's not as devastating as, like, even with Hyrotech, like, you get a death mark back that heals back and is all of a sudden just like a really capable sniper again. And
you can't make your opponent's kill op go down because these guys don't count for it.
Yeah, so
and they start all the way back in your deployment zone. It's like so unoffensive in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, like it's got some good tech. Like it's a great way to like cover your home objective is to just like do something so annoying with one of these warriors that your opponent has to deal with it and has to kill them, even though they gain nothing from it. And it'll just like send a body back to your home objective to do a mission action next turning point or something.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good, but really not that annoying for your opponent. Yeah. I think you were afraid that it was going to be annoying.
Yeah.
But I think after we tried it out a little bit, you realized it's not that annoying.
Yeah, I generally don't like the mechanic that they've put in a few teams with like little guys that don't count towards kill up or don't count towards scoring victory points. You know, I just like, it's not something I like seeing in the game. It just is never fun for me. But I do kind of understand it with this one because they come back. Like, I think how would kill op work in a team that has 8 but kind of 10 operatives? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I understand why they have
or
to not
even
count
11 if like some insane stuff happens in turning point 1.
Yeah, but it's like, does the number of starting operatives change if there were multiple resurrections? Like I get why they had to do it with these. It's just not something I love because it feels like when you're playing against it, it's like I've got to waste my, and like I understand that this is the point, by the way, but like you've got to waste your activation killing something that you gain nothing from killing.
But you still gain something because you get them out of your face.
Yeah, but it still like it's like an opportunity cost thing, and they're still there, and you gain no kill up. But I get it, and I like how they've handled resurrection with this team. It's something that like really hit me in the feel bads with Hyrotech, and so I'm happy with this.
Yeah, it's relatively feels good.
Yeah, exactly.
These guys do have one more ability. Basically, when they die, if the guy who killed them is within 2 inches of them, they can explode for like not a lot amount of damage, but you know, could be useful. All right, so those are the operatives. A lot of weird stuff going on, a lot of very cool stuff going on. I like it, but let's get on to the ploys.
Okay.
Alert, alert, again! This time, it's to thank our 1 HP Gangster and Mountain Goat patrons. Hopefully that didn't wake my son up.
Yeah, we'll see. As we always say, none of this would be even remotely possible without the financial support that we receive from the folks at our Patreon. So thank you so much. If you don't want to support us there, every comment, like, and subscription and notification really helps. We've got some affiliate links. Thank you for all of your continued support. It really helps us keep doing these. I'm going to shut up and go back to a different video where I'm not shutting up and I'm going to talk about some kill teams.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all the strategy ploys interact with either you being on your node matrix or your bullets going through the node matrix, or the reverse for your opponent being on them or their bullets coming through. So there's one that if you're on your matrix or your opponent's bullets come through the matrix, you get ceaseless on your defensive saves effectively. There's one that if your guy is on the matrix or your bullets go through the matrix, you get ceaseless, which is really good when you're hitting on 4s, obviously. Yeah. This is going to be one of those ploys that you're playing all the time. There's one that is a minorly feels bad one. Basically, you can make it into a -1 move to your opponent's move if they move close to it. But I feel like it's less toxic than the Hyrotech one again.
Yeah.
Because like your opponent kind of knows where it is. You can't just say like, oh, your deployment zone is all slowed.
Yeah.
You know, this one is like, you can kind of see it coming. Then the last ploy here affects your enemy's attack stats if either they're fighting or retaliating against your guy that's on your matrix, if they're on your matrix, or if earlier that activation they moved through your matrix, they just get -1 to their attack damage stats, which is good. Again, like, yes, it's a bit anti-fun to your opponent, but they know it's there. You know, It's not a surprise. A little bit of damage reduction to help your survivability. And then firefight ploys. So there's one ploy that lets you move your tokens a little bit, and you can move your tokens in your strategic phase, but this is a little extra way to move your tokens around. And also, when you use this, it's in place of an activation. So you basically pass an activation to move your tokens, or you don't even have to move your tokens if you just want to spend a CP to pass against like a 9 operative team or even a 10 operative team. Maybe this would be useful. There's a ploy that basically lets you change one of your strategic ploys to a different strategic ploy, or lets you play a strategic ploy late. I don't really like this one because just play the right strategic ploy in the first place.
It's perfect for you. Like, you have a history of playing strategic ploys as firefight ploys.
It seems like it adds flexibility, but it's like such a CP drain that I don't really like it, but maybe it's useful. I don't know. Then Shield Flare is like a worse Just a Scratch because it's basically just a scratch, but it only works if you're on the matrix or if bullets are coming through the matrix. So like it's basically just a scratch that you can only play sometimes. And then there's just a standard bodyguard ploy. So any of the non-leader operatives can bodyguard the leader, same as all the other bodyguard ploys, pretty standard. And then equipment, there is some good equipment here and some not so great equipment, but we'll read them out. So first, Matrix Manipulator, it lets your Cryptek act as a 4th Matrix node token for 1 activation. Definitely very strong if used properly. There's one that just gives you some amount of free uses of the pass to move your nodes ploy. Then we got Nano Scarab Caskets, which is basically the same as the Ravner equipment of whenever your guys activate, they heal D3. Seems good.
It's really good.
And then we got Phase Shifter, which is exactly the same as what Hyrotech has. Basically, it just helps your Cryptek stay safer from piercing guns. This team is a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah.
But that's this team. My first impressions, I haven't played them a ton, but I have taken them out for a spin. I think they're going to be a very difficult team to learn. You're not going to reach their full potential on your first game, I don't think. They have a lot of rules interacting, a lot of different choices about like where you're going to put your matrix, where you're going to move it and when. And I think the main thing that I'm unsure about at this point is that so many of your operatives hit on 4s. And that scares me. Because yes, you can get accurate 2, and yes, you can get ceaseless, and that is all very good. And when you have those things, you have some absolutely devastatingly scary guns, or even like good guns just on your trash throwaway models. But getting these buffs will be locked to being in a certain location on the board, and there's going to be times when you need to shoot and you're not going to be where you are going to get these buffs, and you're just going to be shooting naked without these buffs, hitting on 4s, and there's going to be times when you just don't roll well when you're hitting on 4s, and you're just not going to do anything. So I think this team is going to live or die on how often you can use your buffs and get your attacks off with these buffs. And you know, with the little experience that I have, I don't really know if that's going to happen or not yet. I think time will tell for power level of this team. I think they have some really, really, really powerful tricks, but, you know, so much hitting on 4s and so many of their operatives are just bad. Like, they have very few pieces that have meaningful offensive output.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have to just use all your brain cells to use all your tricks in the right way. And I think that makes this team hard to play. But I think it will be extremely rewarding when you do pull it off. I think it will be very fun all the time, whether you're winning or you're losing, because they have so many very out-of-the-box, cool abilities. Teleporting through walls, we all want to do it. And most importantly, I think they've come out with a Necron kill team that is significantly less toxic and feels bad to play against.
This atones for all the sins of Hyrotech.
There are some kind of anti-fun rules, like the making your matrix into a slow down thing for your opponent, making them hit worse, and you know, there are some things, but overall, not even close to the feels bad of Hyrotech. And like recently we did a fun level tier list. Hyrotech has been rated pretty low because there's just so much feel bad with that team. And this team, I think, captures the same like wild, crazy Necron shenanigan kind of vibe, but your opponent's not going to want to strangle you.
Yeah.
So I think this is a win. And the models are so freaking cool. One thing I'll say about the building the models is that all the Canoptek models, which is everybody excluding your leader, super fun to build, super fun to paint, 10 out of 10, love it. The Cryptek is a very cool model, was very fun to paint, was one of the most excruciating experiences I've ever had building a model. There is a step near the end where you have basically the whole upper half built and the whole lower half built, and you have to glue them and have the glue set with like almost no connection points, and it's like brutal, and I had to hold it there for forever. I used only plastic glue. I would recommend learn from my mistakes, use a bit of super glue in there just to get the instant bond. Like use a mix of super glue and plastic glue. I think in hindsight, I wish I did that, just because using only plastic glue made it an absolute pain because it took forever to set, and it's just the top was so heavy. It kept falling off and slipping. Brutal.
Yeah.
So I would suggest throwing a little bit of super glue in there. Anyway, what do you have to say about this team? You've played against them a little bit.
Yeah, they're fun to play against because none of the worst stuff really hurts. You know what I mean? They're capable and they do things well, and they've got pretty good action economy, and they've got some guns that you really have to worry about. But it doesn't feel oppressive in the way that Hyrotech did, where no matter what you do, you're just never making inroads against them because, you know, if you kill something, it respawns somehow like 6 inches away in a worse spot with full health or whatever.
Yeah, and like there's no abilities like turn off crits. Like you can never roll a crit and you can't re-roll. There's no abilities like there's a mine in your deployment zone where you get minus movement and you're devastated from the first moment of the game. You know, all the like similar effects are you can see coming, and they're easier to avoid, and also I think they're less like damning.
Yeah.
And like seeing your kill op go down when a guy resurrects feels bad, and like, you know, they come back to life and they're like 4 inches further into your deployment zone. It's just a whole mess. This team doesn't have any of that. I think I might consider this one of my favorite teams after only one game with them so far.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do have concerns about them hitting on 4s because there's going to be a lot of instances where you just can't get your buffs off. And yes, guys can teleport through walls, but my current reading of the rules is that you can't move your matrix tokens through walls. So on Into the Dark and on Tomb World, I think it might be hard. Like you're going to have to really think about where you put your tokens, because if you lock down one room and then your opponent just leaves, that could be bad. Or also just like sometimes you want flexibility, and it's just there's a lot of limitation on this team. There's a lot of crazy OP stuff, but there's also a lot of really underpowered stuff. Like the amount of operatives that can actually provide a threat are so low. You have like 3 guys, the Warriors maybe.
Yeah.
But the Spiders are really good. The Cryptek's really good.
They're huge threats.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a very hard team to evaluate because they're very weird, and I just don't know what to think. But they're very fun. The most important thing is that they look extremely fun, and the models are very cool, and you should try them out if you like big brain teams with lots of cool tricks, or you just like getting into shenanigans like teleporting all around, and healing 3d3 is fun, and you know, shooting your bullets through a force field is fun to like power them up. Very flavorful.
As mentioned, battle report coming out a week from this very second. So check back next Saturday, whatever that is. I don't know what the date is today, but it's a few days plus 7 from now, which means nothing to you. In a week, there will be a battle report between this team and the Death Watch. We can't wait for you to see it. It was a great game. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you soon. Watch our video about Death Watch. Watch our video about the box as a whole. And stay tuned for more stuff coming next week that's super fun and cool. Thanks.
See ya.